Chapter 31. Her large body was too heavy. What if she crushed him badly? Not good. This was not good. She had better lose some weight, otherwise she would crush the state preceptor's delicate body. Then everyone's heart would ache. Your Highness. Qingling was completely dumbfounded. In the past, the princess would not say something perverted no matter how fond of Lu Yuchen she was. Not only that, didn't the princess loathe the state preceptor before? Why did she change her mind so quickly? Lu Li's face darkened too. Losing weight to sleep with the state preceptor, what kind of reason is this? Your Highness, don't you like young Master Lu anymore? Asked Qingling while biting her lips lightly. Although the princess did shock her after waking up from the coma, through this short period of interaction, she realized that the princess was not a difficult person to get along with anymore. As long as she did not see noble consort Rong anymore, the princess would not stop them from freely voicing out their thoughts. This version of the princess was much tolerable compared to the previous one. Lu Yuchen. Feng Ruqing chuckled before saying, is he more good-looking than the state preceptor? Qingling shook her head in all honesty. Nobody could compare to the state preceptor's good looks. Then, is he as kind-hearted as the state preceptor? The state preceptor pitied me for losing my mother, so he plans to guide me personally, and due to his presence, Luyun Kingdom will not lose such a talent like me. Qingling was speechless. If what she said was real, the state preceptor was indeed a kind person. Is he as pure as the state preceptor? Don't tell me that there's another woman in his heart. The fact that he used to have concubines in the manor is sufficient to prove that he is not a dependable person. Despite the fact that the concubines were already chased out by her in the past. Qingling kept shaking her head. The state preceptor was not Lu Yuchen. Through these years, it was undeniable that there were people who tried to seduce the state preceptor, but all of them faced bad consequences. The state preceptor was always alone without any woman by his side. In fact, there was a rumor that he actually did not like women but his pet the azure snake only. Since he does not possess the state preceptor's good looks and he cannot even be compared to the state preceptor's kind heart and pureness, why should I like him instead of chasing after the good-looking state preceptor? Feng Ruqing's face lit up with a cheerful smile. Me for extra chapters. Whenever she thought of the state preceptor, she felt happy. But within seconds, her smile disappeared and her face turned stiff. I think I forgot something. The state preceptor asked me to see him this afternoon, but I am too occupied today and have totally forgotten about it. Doomed. If she had forgotten such an important matter, how would she be able to sleep with the state preceptor later? Your Highness, then do you want to go now? Asked Lu Li a few moments later. Feng Ruqing tilted her head, looking at the beast cage in the garden, stroking her aching head. It's fine, I still need to take care of these spiritual beasts. I will find the state preceptor tomorrow then. By the way, Lu Li, I will give you a list of herbal seeds to buy. Yes, Your Highness. Lu Li replied respectfully. Feng Ruqing raised her eyebrows slightly, looking at her garden that was filled with spiritual beasts. She fell deep into her thoughts. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. The presence of these spiritual beasts did solve her current problem, but she was really desperate to increase her strength at the moment. If she encountered a similar incident like what happened today, and there was nobody to protect her, wouldn't she be in danger? The only solution was for her to improve her strength. Then she would be confident enough to stand on her own 2 feet on this land. However, she was more concerned about paying a visit to the general manor. It was not polite to go empty-handed, but the gifts bought using money were too ordinary. Suddenly, Feng Ruqing's eyes lit up, her lips curved into a smile. She remembered that there was a spiritual wine in the medicine recipe book that was able to strengthen one's body and health, increase life expectancy and soothe pain. Since Grandpa loved drinking wine, she would visit him after she had made spiritual wine for him. Chapter 32. There was a hill at the back of the Princess Manor. On top of the hill were splendidly clear blue sky and a small bridge over a flowing stream which formed a panoramic scenery. Next to this small stream was an herb farm. However, this farm seemed like it was not plowed properly, as it showed the inexperience of two amateurs who never did hard work. Feng Ruching facepalmed. Fine, just bear with this temporarily. Wait until I manage to tame the spirit beasts, then I will let them take over the work. Although the spirit beasts had been tamed once, they were only tamed by the people at the beast court. If she wanted the spirit beasts to be loyal to her, she needed to tame them again. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. Feng Ruching took out the herbal seeds. On the mulberry bark paper, which was used to wrap the herbal seeds, the names of each herb were clearly written. In normal circumferences, an herb took a long time to be fully grown. However, the herbs that Feng Ruching grew were not the common ones but spirit herbs. These are indeed low-grade herbs, so they will not take too long to grow, maybe just 1 to 3 months' time. The growth of spirit herbs had different levels. Feng Ruching's current ability was too low, only equivalent to beginner warrior tier, so she was only able to grow grade 1 spirit herbs with her current strength. In fact, these grade 1 spirit herbs required less spiritual chi and the process would not take a long time. Feng Ruching held the seeds in her hand, light spiritual chi surrounded the seeds, whirled and turned into traces of gas, then penetrated the seeds. If observed carefully, the color of the seeds seemed to have undergone a small change, making them different from before. After she followed Fu Chen's method to immerse all the seeds in the spiritual chi, she planted them one by one in the herbal field. Me for extra chapters. However, most of the seeds had unexpectedly begun to bud despite being planted into the soil just a moment ago. This startled Feng Ruching. She frowned and thought deeply. Based on the book, the germination of grade 1 herbs require a few days. Why did they germinate even though I have just planted them? Ordinary herbs took ages to grow, not to mention spirit herbs. Of course, it happened with scarce spiritual chi, but it was enough to speed up the growing process of the spirit herbs just with the help of Fu Chen's method. So, it only required a few days for germination to occur, but what Fu Chen did not tell her was that these seeds germinated at such a fast rate. Looks like I need to set an invisible spell around this herbal farm, or else, once this news is out to the public, Lu Yun Kingdom would not remain peaceful anymore. The truth was that Feng Ruching was aware that Feng Tianyu had sent some people to protect her secretly. Just that those people were too self-conscious to not spy on her once she entered the Princess Manor. They would only follow her when she left the manor. This was also the reason why Feng Ruching did not intentionally hide her movements. Nevertheless, before she succeeded in setting up the spell, she would not let anyone step foot on the hill. Looks like the growing of spirit herbs is exhausting. I have just planted 10 seeds just now and it has almost used up my spiritual chi. Luckily I have foreseen it and scanned the beast taming spell of Fu Qin. Otherwise, the spirit herbs that I grow would not even be enough to be Fu Qin and Qing Han's dessert. Feng Ruching wiped the sweat off her forehead. She was not sure if it was her plump body that had caused her to be a little out of breath and exhausted. Surprisingly, Feng Ruching realized that among the seeds that she had planted just now, one of them had grown rather quickly, as it bloomed and bore fruit. Chapter 33. This was simply too fast, which dazed Feng Ruching. Her eyes widened as she stared at the tiny tree in shock. Low-grade divine spirit fruit. A divine spirit fruit was considered a grade 1 spirit herb. She had asked Luli to buy it for the spirit winemaking. This divine spirit fruit was the lowest among the grade 1 spirit herbs, so it did not provide any benefits in the training. Its only function was to eliminate fatigue. What made Feng Ruching pleased was that this divine spirit fruit, because of its sweetness and juiciness, was Spirit Beast's favorite. Due to this reason, this divine spirit fruit was almost finished by the spirit beasts until they nearly became extinct despite being the lowest grade of spirit herbs. As it seemed, divine spirit fruits were a huge temptation to the spirit beasts. Feng Ruching stroked her chin softly and chuckled. The snow wolf seems useful in this situation now. I was worried about getting a suitable person to guard the herbal farm. Now, with the presence of the snow wolf, nobody dares to trespass this place. She simply plucked one divine spirit fruit and took a big bite. Its delicious juice filled her mouth, making her feel refreshed and left her no trace of tiredness. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. Too bad that this divine spirit fruit's function was too little, so she could only have them as fruits. In the Princess Manor's garden, the snow wolf lay flat in the cage and appeared to be listless, its eyes filled with resentment. At this time, a sweet-smelling fragrance reached the snow wolf's nose. The snow wolf opened his eyes and sniffed hard. What was this pleasant smell? It must be the humans trying to use good food to seduce him. They were delusional to think this king of the wolf would surrender to them. He, the heavenly mountain snow wolf, would rather starve himself to death than eat the humans' food. Little Wolfie. The sweet and tingling voice of a maiden was heard, sending a cold shiver down the snow wolf's spine. He snorted, his eyes flickered with a sheen of violence, gnashing his sharp teeth at the approaching giant maiden as a warning. Little Wolfie, I am sure you did not have a proper meal after being captured by the beast court. I have prepared some fruits for you. What about you take a bite first? Me for extra chapters. The snow wolf continued to snort. As expected, these foolish human beings wanted to use good food to bribe him. As the king of the wolf pack, which delicious food had he not tried before? Would he succumb to human food? Feng Ruching saw that the snow wolf was still acting indifferently, so she did not elaborate further. She sat on the stone bench beside her, took out the divine spirit fruit she had hidden in her sleeve, wiped it with a handkerchief, then took a small bite of it. The snow wolf's eyes widened instantly. He stared defiantly at the divine spirit fruit that Shed bit into as his body shook. Was this the divine spirit fruit? How long had he not tasted the divine spirit fruit? It seemed like since he was caught by the human, he never had the chance to taste such heavenly taste anymore. No. Wrong. This smell was a bit different from the divine spirit fruit he had tried before, which seemed stronger, more fragrant. He wished to take a bite. Want a bite? Feng Ruching asked with a little smile while standing up as she looked at the snow wolf's saliva almost dripping to the ground. At this moment, the four-armed ape had walked to Feng Ruching, pulled Feng Ruching's sleeve gently and looked at her with a pitiful, unpleading look. Feng Ruching was unstintingly generous. She took out another divine spirit fruit and threw it to the four-armed ape. The four-armed ape caught the divine spirit fruit with joy, squeaked and went away. Chapter 34, I, the Heavenly Mountain Snow Wolf, would rather starve to death. 3 Both Spirit Degu and Spirit Rabbit moved forward, cupped their hands together as though begging and stared longingly at the divine spirit fruits. Howl! Exploding with an uncontrollable rage, the snow wolf's eyes reddened and slammed at the cage violently. You bastard! Leave some for this king. I know you all understand human language. If you work properly, you will have everything you want. If you help me to take care of this manor, I will provide you with the divine spirit fruits every day. Feng Ruching stroked the spirit rabbit's head, and her gaze swept past the snow wolf. Although the divine spirit fruit was just a grade 1 spirit herb, it was really rare in this realm. Even the snow wolf could hardly find it in the heavenly mountain. Hence, it was extremely tempting to spirit beasts. Guarding the manor was the dog's responsibility, not a wolf. The snow wolf's face darkened a few shades as it squinted at the divine spirit fruits that Feng Ruching threw at the spirit Digu. Well, there's nothing wrong with guarding the manor. The dog and wolf share a common ancestor after all. The snow wolf could no longer restrain the temptation of the divine spirit fruits. Qingling and Lu Li rushed over hastily after hearing the loud bang. They sighed in relief as soon as they found out that Feng Ruching was still safe and sound. Your Highness, what happened? Lu Li walked toward Feng Ruching and asked anxiously. Nothing. Open up the cage. Let the snow wolf out, Feng Ruching said nonchalantly. Hearing this, color drained from Qingling's face. The snow wolf was a third-tier spirit beast that was equivalent to true warrior tier. The princess really wanted to release it from the cage. Let it out. Feng Ruching squinted at the snow wolf again, as she said coolly. Feng Ruching knew that the emperor had sent some people over to protect her. Even if they were not staying at the princess manor, they would quickly come to the prince's rescue if they sensed any danger. Hence, Feng Ruching was not the least bit afraid of the snow wolf. Qingling stood motionless, her face was ghastly pale and she was nearly bursting into tears. In the end, it was Lu Li who walked near the cage with her arms outstretched and unlocked the cage. Only after the cage opened did she quickly retracted her arms. She stared at the snow wolf, which was crawling out of the cage, with her eyes wide open. The snow wolf merely snorted and disregarded the both of them. Standing dazed, Qingling was rendered speechless. They were actually condemned by a wolf. Although the snow wolf had been kept in a cage for a long time, it crawled out of the cage with a gracious and elegant pace without missing a bit of pride and loftiness of the wolf clan. It moved slowly toward Feng Ruching and stared scornfully at her as if telling her to serve him the divine spirit fruit. Wag your tail if you want to eat. Feng Ruching's gaze swept past the snow wolf as she said coolly. Hearing this, the snow wolf was burning with rage. This human had actually asked a wolf to wag its tail like a dog. Chapter 35. The snow wolf did not respond. Feng Ruching disregarded the wolf, took out a divine spirit fruit and threw it to the spirit Digu. The spirit Digu shouted joyfully and happily took the divine spirit fruit. I love adorable pets. If you can't make me happy, I won't waste my divine spirit fruit on you. A faint smile played on her lips as Feng Ruching took out a divine spirit fruit. She divided it into half and gave it to the two spirit rabbits. The snow wolf was too conceited. Feng Ruching must kill its ego to make it guard the manor with all its heart. Moreover, those who stayed at the princess manor were like her king. She did not want them to have conflicts within the manor. Seeing that the spirit Digus and the spirit rabbits were happily enjoying the divine spirit fruits, the snow wolf's hairs bristled, his eyes reddened and were fixed at the divine spirit fruit in Feng Ruching's hand. At this moment, strong spiritual qi surged from the surroundings which enveloped the snow wolf and suppressed the fiery spirit aroused within its body. Feng Ruching actually wanted the snow wolf of Heavenly Mountain to wag its tail at her. The snow wolf had always been unyielding and had never bowed to humans. However, it simply could not deal with the temptation of the divine spirit fruit. It finally surrendered, sat on the ground and wagged its tail at Feng Ruching like a dog begging for food from its owner. Feng Ruching actually tamed the snow wolf. Since when did the princess become so powerful? Lu Li and Qingling stood rooted on the ground, puzzled. Lu Li looked up at Feng Ruching, her eyes were flooded with tears. The giant body before her eyes reminded her of a person engraved in her memories many years ago. Even though she was still young at that time, she could still remember the empress who led hundreds of iron-blooded troops in a battle, against hundreds of thousands of opponents. She had even defeated countless of masters on the battlefield. The empress had since then commanded a lot of respect from all the emperors from the other kingdoms. The empress was really something. Naturally, her daughter was not inferior to her. Enriching would be better, just like the Empress Nalan. Me for extra chapters. Qingling looked at Enriching in bewilderment. Indeed, the princess was different from her old self. Previously the princess was a good-for-nothing. Presently, she was extremely charming even with her flabby body. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. The snow wolf bit into the divine spirit fruit that Enriching threw at him contentedly and had nearly swallowed the seed. It was a mouth-watering delight. The divine spirit fruit was no ordinary spirit herb. It was far tastier than the divine spirit fruits that he ever had before. That's all for today. If you guard my manor properly, I will give you one divine spirit fruit tomorrow. However, if you dare to eat them without permission, I will make you a slave at the general's manor and you can never taste the divine spirit fruit again for the rest of your life. Looking at the snow wolf's innocent eyes, Enriching merely waved her hand. The snow wolf nodded hastily. Luli, take it to the backyard and let him guard my herbs. During this period, no one is allowed to go near there. Enriching commanded with a cold gaze. She trusted Luli more than Qingling. If she did not allow Luli to walk near the backyard, Luli would definitely obey her command. Chapter 36, At your command, Your Highness. Luli slightly bowed and paid her respect to the princess. Enriching stretched her body. She was easily tired because of her flabby body. Since she had the time, she wanted to do a lap around the backyard. As she was still unable to make the herbal dish, this was the only way to lose weight. Moreover, her fatigue would be quickly washed away by the divine spirit fruits. Qing Han took small steps across the lawn to Fu Chen's side, tilted her head and furrowed her brow as she asked in bewilderment, "Brother Fu Chen, what's wrong with the divine spirit fruit? Why does the divine spirit fruit grow at such a fast pace? Even if the divine spirit fruit is the most inferior spirit fruit, it needs at least 2 days to grow." Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. I am not sure why, but there was a precedent. Fu Chen frowned. Really? It happened to the founder of the Divine Herbs sect, the mysterious ancestor. The mysterious founder resembled a plain white sheet of paper, open to one's imagination. There were no chronicles about this legendary founder. Simply no one knew his gender or physical appearance. He was the one who studied and passed down the spirit herb's sowing skills. He had given a clear direction to the cultivation of all human beings in this realm. Although no one knew who he actually was, his name would live on from generation to generation. He was regarded as the 9th emperor. You are saying that she has the same talent as the 9th emperor. That's why the spirit herb grows faster and the divine spirit fruit that she sows possess an intense aura that has even surpassed the master of the divine herbs sect. Qing Han blinked her eyes in wonder. We need to check out her talent later. The 9th emperor was not only a master in sowing spirit herbs, the speed of his cultivation was unparalleled in the realm. It was a pity that the 9th emperor was only a legend and was buried by time and dust. Me for extra chapters. Since she is our mommy, we will never starve for food from now on. Otherwise, I don't know how long should we wait for a grade 3 spirit herb. Qing Han's eyes sparkled with joy. She is our herb slave. Fu Chen's face darkened a few shades and snorted. I don't care. She is my mommy as long as she gives me the spirit herb. Brother Fu Chen, I am completely worn out being starved for years. Qing Han stroked her belly gently and pouted. Enriching was not aware of the chatter between the two little kids. Little did she know that these two little sweetie pies were observing her secretly. The sky turned dark after Enriching did a complete lap around the backyard with the energy from the divine spirit fruits. Drenched in sweat, she was panting as she walked out of the backyard. It would be perfect to have hawthorn soup now. Hawthorn soup was an herbal dish cooked with hawthorn, peacebloom, and silverleaf. It was extremely useful for detox and fat loss. Presently, her flabby body was not only a life and death issue on the battlefield, but it was also an obstacle to gain a foothold in this kingdom. Hence, the most important thing that she wanted to do presently was to lose weight. Luli, have you heard of the Divine Herbs sect? Feng-Ruching saw and asked Luli, who was waiting for her in the distance, as she walked closer to her after pondering for a while. Chapter 37. Luli's eyes widened in shock. She had no clue why Feng-Ruching asked about the Divine Herbs sect. Your Highness, Divine Herbs sect is the biggest sect in Xiangyu mainland. Rumor has it that there were countless spirit herbs in the Divine Herbs sect. It was a place where all the greatest minds want to get in. After contemplating for a while, Luli answered. Hearing this, Feng-Ruching knitted her brows together. She could still remember Fu Qin telling her that the Divine Herbs sect had been massacred. It seemed that Fu Qin was not reliable. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. Now that I have learned the spirit herbs sewing skill from Divine Herbs sect, would the Divine Herbs sect come after me? It is too risky. I need to have a good talk with Fu Qin. The corner of Feng-Ruching's lips slightly lifted. Seeing this, a chill ran down Luli's spine. She could feel that Feng-Ruching was planning for something evil. Luli, did anything happen at the general's manor? The old princess did not care for the general's manor. Consequently, Feng-Ruching could hardly find anything related to the general's manor in her memory. Your Highness only cared for young Master Lu previously. After you fell sick, His Majesty was afraid that you would mess around with the people at the general's manor and did not tell you about this. Standing dazed, Lu lowered her head and only answered after a long while. Feng-Ruching was no longer the ruthless princess who was good for nothing. Hence, Luli could finally tell her the things that happened at the general's manor. Your Highness, Princess Xian of Long Ao Kingdom has broken off the engagement with the young master of the general's manor, Nailan Jing. Me for extra chapters. Slightly surprised, Feng-Ruching clenched her fists. When Empress Nailan was still alive, the Emperor of Long Ao Kingdom had forged an alliance with Lu Yun Kingdom by marrying off a princess after losing the battle. It was a pity that none of the princes were of marriageable age. Hence, a marriage was arranged between Empress Nailan's nephew and Princess Xian, who was a newborn infant back then. Both of them would get married when they reached 18 years old. Presently, it was just 1 year before their marriage, and the engagement had been called off. Your Highness, we have lost Empress Nailan, and the old general's health is declining year after year. If not for His Majesty, the attacking troops of the other kingdom would have reached our main gates, Luli explained earnestly. Luli, I want to take a look at the general's manor. Don't tell anyone about this, Feng-Ruching said with a determined expression. She was worried about the general's family. Even if she could not enter the general's manor, she wanted to take a look from outside. Out in the bustling southern street was a group of 6 or 7 years old kids. Initially, Feng-Ruching paid no heed to them. However, as she walked past, her eyes fell on a little girl encircled by the kids. Her hair was dripping wet, and her skin was ghastly pale with a scar slashed across her face that had ruined her loveliness. Her bright eyes were dilated in fear, like a kid who had been deserted by the whole world. The girl hugged her knees tightly, shivering with fear. She was defenseless and helpless. Nailan Dyer, how dare you sneak out from your manor? You are grounded because your father knows that you are an eyesore. He is afraid that you would frighten off the people outside. Now that you have frightened me, how would you compensate me? Chapter 38. Seeing the group of kids approaching her, Nailan Dyer took a few steps back as she pursed her lips together. Fear began to show on her sickly face. Oh yeah, you are not only weak but also feeble-minded. Since you can't talk properly, I don't expect an answer from you. A little boy said as he squinted disdainfully at the little girl sat on the ground. The little boy had fair and delicate skin and was dressed in rich, intricate brocade just as a spoiled descendant of a prestigious family would. Have we gone too far? She is the general's daughter after all. What if the general comes after us? The person next to the boy tugged at his sleeve and said softly. What are you afraid of? Her aunt has died, and my aunt is noble consort Rome. She would be the empress of Lu Yun kingdom one day. Who dares to mess me? Lu Yun stuck his nose in the air. Till then, the whole world belonged to the Lu family. The general was nothing. Moreover, she is feeble-minded and can't even talk properly. Even if I lay my hands on her, do you really think that the general would avenge her and mess with me? Lu Yu raised his foot, wanting to give Nayland Dyer a kick. Sitting rooted to the ground, Nayland Dyer did not dodge Lu Ye's foot and only stared blankly at him. Before Lu Ye's foot hit Nayland Dyer, a huge foot could be seen kicking the boy in the chest. It was truly a hard kick. Lu Yu fell down and his head struck the ground. Tears ran freely from his eyes. He reached out and wiped off his tears. Who kicked me? I will make my aunt. Engulfed with rage, Lu Yu got up as he snarled. When he saw the huge flabby body, his face stiffened. Feng Ruching, was it you who kicked me? Slap. Fen Ruching took a step forward and slapped him hard across his face. Me for extra chapters. Haven't you learned the customs and etiquette from your family elders? I am the princess of Lu Yun kingdom. How dare you call me by my name? Lu Yu stood up dazedly, his eyes wide opened. He did not forget about Feng Ruching's status and treated her with respect all this while. This time was really just a slip of the tongue as his rage overtook his senses. However, Feng Ruching should never have kicked him as he was noble consort Rong's nephew. You kicked me. Sob. I am going to tell my aunt and let her teach you a lesson. Lu Yu burst into tears. Feng Ruching had always obeyed noble consort Rong, and Lu Yu was noble consort Rong's most beloved nephew. He would not let her off easily. Don't you dare cry. Feng Ruching lifted the edge of Lu Ye's brocade as she sneered. She raised her hand and slapped him on his buttocks. This time, the slap was different from the one she gave Fu Qin. It was a hard slap. She did not show the slightest bit of mercy on him. The kids around them did not dare to mess with Feng Ruching and took a few steps back in fear as they started to panic. Get your aunt to teach me a lesson. I dare you. I want to have a good talk with her about the iron-blooded token. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. Slap. Another hard slap on his buttocks. Lu Yu cried his heart out in pain. You are seeking your demise. I will get my aunt to punish you with a rod. Lu Yu struggled to get away from Feng Ruching but failed. Feeling that his buttock was burning hot, Lu Yu cried out loud. Chapter 39. The louder Lu Yu cried, the harder Feng Ruching slapped his buttocks. Whenever she ran out of energy, she bit into a divine spirit fruit and continued slapping. Only when Lu Yu was completely worn out and had stopped crying did Feng Ruching loosen her grip and throw him on the ground. Don't you ever lay your hands on Dyer again. Otherwise, I would not let you off easily. Get out of my sight now. Feng Ruching snarled. Feeling the prickly pain on his buttocks, Lu Yu stroked his buttocks and stared at Feng Ruching as though she was a monster. As soon as Feng Ruching finished speaking, he quickly turned and left. Even though he could hardly walk and was stumbling through the streets because of the pain, he did not dare to stay there any longer. Nayland Dyer was still sitting on the ground, her eyes staring at Feng Ruching fearfully. "Dyer, do you remember me?" When Feng Ruching glanced at the scar across Nayland Dyer's face, her heart was full of unutterable sorrow. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. It was the princess and Feng Ruchuang who had left the scar on Nayland Dyer's face. Feng Ruchuang had pressed Nayland Dyer onto the ground as the princess burned Nayland Dyer's face. However, Feng Ruchuang had pushed all the blame onto the princess to avoid any punishment by the emperor. Feng Ruchuang had since then become the one who failed to stop the princess from hurting Nayland Dyer. The princess was such a fool. Even though the general knew that Feng Ruchuang was involved, he could not help but put all the blame on the princess. "My mother said that you are evil. You will hit me, burn me, and ride me like a horse. She wants me to stay away from you. You are a demon." Nayland Dyer's body shook violently. Apparently, Feng Ruching was more terrifying than the group of kids. Feng Ruching lowered her head, she felt a dull ache in her heart. "But I have saved you. Look, they will never hurt you again. My mother said you are a demon." Nayland Dyer's eyes were filled with doubt. "I was wrong for hurting you, but I have changed. Can you give me a chance?" Feng Ruching squatted down before Nayland Dyer, a gentle smile hanging on her lips. Tilting her head, Nayland Dyer bit her finger as she stared at Feng Ruching. "Me for extra chapters. Look, I brought you something yummy." Feng Ruching stretched out her hand, a tiny little fruit on her palm. A sweet-smelling aroma lingered in the air. The fruit was glistening like a jewel. It was such a juicy treat. Sitting motionlessly, Nayland Dyer did not take the fruit. She had been hurt too many times that even a feeble-minded kid could hardly trust Feng Ruching now. She was afraid that Feng Ruching would hurt her again and that she could no longer handle the pain of her heart being ripped apart. "If I want to hurt you, I wouldn't have helped you just now. So long as you eat this, I swear that I won't hurt you anymore. Is that all right?" Nayland Dyer swallowed hard. She looked at Feng Ruching's face and then at the divine spirit fruit. Nayland Dyer could no longer restrain the temptation of the divine spirit fruit. She stretched her arms out carefully, her eyes filled with fear. Feng Ruching was immensely relieved when Nayland Dyer took the divine spirit fruit from her outstretched hand. This time, Feng Ruching did not hurt Nayland Dyer. "Eat this." Feng Ruching rested her chin in her hands as she looked at Nayland Dyer with a bright smile. Nayland Dyer bit into the divine spirit fruit. The juice burst into her mouth and spread across her tongue. It was sweet and succulent. Chapter 40, Yummy. Perhaps the divine spirit fruit was too delicious, as Nayland Dyer finally let her guard down with a sweet smile hanging on her lips. "Dyer, it's late, why are you still hanging around outside? My brother is not in a good mood. I want to buy him some osmanthus cakes, but I couldn't find them." Nayland Dyer blinked as she answered. Indeed, there was a famous shop selling osmanthus cake in Southern Street. Nayland Jing must be extremely upset with the cancelled engagement. Hence, Nayland Dyer had snuck out to buy the dessert that he liked most to cheer him up. Feng Ruching sighed as she recalled the moment she saw the gloomy look on her cousin's face. It was a pity that she did not know about the cancelled engagement when she met him. "Dyer, let me take you there." Feng Ruching got up and held Nayland Dyer's hands as she smiled. As the night grew darker, the general's manor sank into chaos. The old general jumped out of his bed and led everyone in the general's manor in search of Nayland Dyer. Lady Nayland stood at the general's manor's door, staring anxiously into the distance, gripping a scarf tightly. "General and father had gone out for quite some time. Have they found Dyer?" Nayland Dyer was different from an ordinary kid. She started crawling only when she was 1 year old and was unable to talk when she was 2. Only at the age of 3 did she learn to walk on her own. Moreover, she was weak and fragile. Hence, Lady Nayland had always been taking extra care of Nayland Dyer. If anything were to happen to Nayland Dyer, how was Lady Nayland going to live her life? Lady Nayland wiped off her tears and sighed softly. Me for extra chapters. Suddenly, a small silhouette came into sight, sending joy to her heart. However, when she saw the lady walking next to Nayland Dyer, her face darkened. She quickly rushed toward Nayland Dyer, pulled her hand out of Fong Rooking's grip and wrapped her tightly in her embrace. Standing in a stupor, Lady Nayland was afraid that Fong Rooking would hurt Nayland Dyer. "Aunt, don't worry. I would not hurt Dyer. She wanted to buy osmanthus cakes for cousin but had lost her way. So, I sent her home." Fong Rooking knew what Lady Nayland was worried about and smiled wryly. Lady Nayland did not let her guard down as she still could not trust Fong Rooking. "Your Highness, thanks for helping Dyer. We will not trouble you again in the future. Dyer, never do this again. You have made me worried." "Mommy, don't worry. Cousin will protect me." Nayland Dyer buried her head in Lady Nayland's bosom and broke into a smile. "Fong Rooking will protect Dyer?" Lady Nayland could not believe what she had just heard. She would already be extremely grateful if Fong Rooking did not hurt Nayland Dyer. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. "Aunt, I mean no harm. I am here today to check on grandfather's health condition," Fong Rooking said with a grave expression on her face. She did not say a word about her cousin's cancelled engagement as she knew that it would only worsen the whole situation. "Your Highness, don't you know what happened to my father? The iron-blooded token was Empress Nayland's painstaking effort of a lifetime, and you have given it to noble consort Rome without a second thought. My father was waiting outside your chamber for a few days, begging to meet you. However, you did not even spare him a glance. His health has been declining day after day ever since." Chapter 41. Hearing this, Fong Rooking lowered her eyes. Even though she knew that the princess was the one who was at fault, she could not help but feel sad. Presently, not only did Fong Rooking take over the princess' body, but she had also taken over all the princess' responsibilities and wrongdoings. She could feel the guilt and shame as though it was her fault. "Auntie, I mean no harm to anyone in the general's manor now. Please trust me one more time." Fong Rooking looked up at Lady Nayland with a firm and resolute look in her eyes that had nearly shaken Lattice Nayland's determination. Lady Nayland had never seen Fong Rooking's with such a firm gaze. However, Lady Nayland quickly regained her focus. All this while, Fong Rooking had always pretended to be innocent after hurting Nayland Dyer. It turned out that Fong Rooking had not only not changed, she had even brought more harm to Nayland Dyer. She had utterly broken all their trust, and no matter what she said now, they would never trust her. "Your Highness, please don't say that. You are the princess of Lu Yun Kingdom, and we are just your servants. A servant must always obey the princess. Let alone trust the princess. It's late. You might want to take your leave. Please forgive me for not escorting you." Lady Nayland clenched her fists tightly. Fong Rooking sighed and smiled wryly. She wanted to say something but quickly bit back her words. "All right, Aunt. Can I visit you again next time?" Hearing this, Lady Nayland flew into a great panic. Fong Rooking wanted to come to the general's manor again. Did she truly think that she had not brought enough trouble to everyone at the general's manor, and did she want to turn it upside down again? However, Lady Nayland did not dare to offend the princess. She simply forced a smile. "There is nowhere in this kingdom that your Highness could not set your foot in. You do not need my permission to do that. Me for extra chapters. Feng Ruching pursed her lips. Then, she stretched out her arm, wanting to stroke Nalan Dyer's head before she left. Seeing this, Lady Nalan quickly tightened her grip on Nalan Dyer in alarm. Feng Ruching's hand stopped midair before falling to her side. It's time for me to take my leave. Feng Ruching turned to glance at the door of the general's manor and left reluctantly. Only when Feng Ruching had disappeared in the darkness did Lady Nalan loosen her grip on Nalan Dyer and heaved a sigh of relief. Dyer, stay away from Feng Ruching. Do you hear me? Lady Nalan said anxiously. Lost in wonder, Nalan Dyer blinked. Her big eyes were like the twinkling stars in the vast night sky. But cousin brought me to buy cakes. Feng Ruching had saved Nalan Dyer from danger and brought her to buy osmanthus cakes. She was such a kind person. Why would her mother dislike Feng Ruching? Listen to me. She will hurt you. You have suffered a lot since you were little. I don't want you to get hurt again. Tears streamed down Lady Nalan's face. Whenever she thought of the things Feng Ruching had done to Nalan Dyer, her heart was reminded of all the grief and pain Feng Ruching had caused. Feng Ruching not only brought great trouble to the general's manor, but the whole of Luyun kingdom. It was a twist of fate that Empress Nalan had such an evil daughter. Cousin is not a villain. Nalan Dyer protested. Feng Ruching had saved her and brought her delicious fruit. Feng Ruching was not evil. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. Alright, I hear you. She is not a villain. Lady Nalan sighed helplessly. She simply did not know what Feng Ruching had done to completely change Nalan Dyer. Nalan Dyer was not only unafraid of Feng Ruching, but she had even sided with her. Chapter 42. The State Preceptor was more important too. Naturally, Lady Nalan was more than happy if Feng Ruching was truly sincere and treated Nalan Dyer with all her heart. However, Lady Nalan was afraid that Feng Ruching was just messing around with Nalan Dyer out of boredom. Nalan Dyer was naive and had a pure heart. She had even put all the wrongdoings that Feng Ruching did to her out of her mind. Moving forward, Lady Nalan must keep an eye on Nalan Dyer and never let her walk out of the manor so Feng Ruching could never get close to her. Tell the general that Dyer is back, but don't tell him anything about Feng Ruching. Lady Nalan lowered her eyes. Feng Ruching had wholly broken the general's heart. Whenever he heard of Feng Ruching's name, his sorrow grew even more profound. Hence, Lady Nalan did not want the general to know that it was Feng Ruching who had brought Nalan Dyer back. Her father had suffered a great deal of grievances because of Feng Ruching. She did not want the general to follow in his father's path. At your command, lady. The guard cupped his hands in a salute. As Nalan Dyer had returned to the general's manor safe and sound, it did not make a great stir in the kingdom. However, the guards in the Generala manor were greatly increased and even the back door was closely guarded to prevent Nalan Dyer from sneaking out of the manor again. At the crack of dawn, Nalan Zhangqian pushed open the door and walked out of the study. He seemed to have not slept through the night as fatigue was engraved on his worn face. Suddenly, a sweetie pie came into sight in the distance. Seeing Dyer, Nalan Zhangqian broke into a wide smile. Dyer, why are you here? I miss you, Daddy. I brought you a fruit, Dyer said softly with a smile of pure joy. Seeing Dyer, Nalan Zhangqian's heart melted, his eyes filled up with tenderness. Dyer is such a good girl. What have you brought me? It's a sweet and juicy fruit. Nalan Dyer stretched out her hand and revealed a crimson-red fruit in her tiny palm. Feng Ruching gave her 5, and she had only eaten 1. The rest was for her father, mother, grandfather, and brother. The sweet scent and spiritual qi from the fruit proved that it was the divine spirit fruit in Nalan Dyer's hand. Even though the spiritual chi of the great one spirit herb was faint, a spirit herb was truly rare and expensive in Luyun Kingdom. With Nayland Dyer's allowance, she could never afford such a spirit herb. Ah! Dyer! Where did you get this from? Stunned, Nayland Zhangqian asked solemnly. I bought it. Feng Ruqing had taught Nayland Dyer a sweet lie. She did not want Nayland Dyer to tell the general that it was she who had given the divine spirit fruit to Nayland Dyer. Even though Nayland Dyer did not know the reason Feng Ruqing did that, she trusted Feng Ruqing and that her cousin would not hurt her. Where did you buy it from? Nayland Zhangqian's face was growing more solemn as he continued asking. I bought it from an old man on the street. I ate this before. It tasted extremely good. So, I bought it for you and Mommy. Nayland Dyer pouted and lowered her head. Did I do something wrong? It was Feng Ruqing who taught Nayland Dyer to say this. Even though Nayland Dyer was feeble-minded, she was not mentally disabled. So, she could still repeat Feng Ruqing's words. No. You have done something incredible. This fruit is truly precious. Dyer, you are so lucky to have bought this. Do you know where the old man is? Chapter 43. Dyer shook her head and replied absent-mindedly, Dyer doesn't remember anymore. It's all right. Nayland Zhangqian smiled gently. This divine spirit fruit is hard to get. Perhaps that old man only had 2 of them. Your grandpa's not feeling really well recently, so let him have this divine spirit fruit. But... Dyer twiddled her fingers in confusion and muttered, Dyer still has 3 here, which enough for everyone. Why must we give Dad's one to Grandpa? Nayland Zhangqian took a deep breath, trying to resist the urge to scream. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. How lucky was his daughter? He had been to so many spirit herbs shops but had only managed to buy a small quantity of the spirit herbs. His daughter did not even have to spend much to get 5 divine spirit fruits effortlessly. Since they still had divine spirit fruit, Nayland Zhangqian did not hesitate anymore. He took a divine spirit fruit from Dyer's hand and gently bit into it. It was juicy and sweet. Dyer felt her mouth watering, she could not resist herself from drooling. Nayland Zhangqian smiled while looking at her daughter. He handed 1 divine spirit fruit to her. Here. Let's eat together, Dyer. All right. Nayland Dyer took a small bite and smiled sweetly. Once he consumed the divine spirit fruit, Nayland Zhangqian could feel that his energy was replenished and his fatigue was gone. This divine spirit fruit tastes so good. Hopefully we can meet the old man who sold the divine spirit fruit to you again. No matter how much money the general's manor needs to spend, we must get more fruits from him. Nayland Zhangqian sighed regretfully. This divine spirit fruit was very important to him. With the help of this divine spirit fruit, he would not feel tired even if he stayed up all night. Then, he could do more things for Luyun Kingdom. However, Nayland Zhangqian understood that one must not be greedy as it was not easy to get even just a few pieces of the divine spirit fruit. He should not demand more as no one always has good luck all the time after all. Nayland Dyer was stupefied looking at Nayland Zhangqian with her big eyes. Although the fruit was very delicious, Dad was too gluttonous. He wanted to find that old man who did not exist at all for the fruit. Dyer. Nayland Zhangqian suddenly looked at Dyer. He hesitated for a few moments before continuing, I don't know if it's just an illusion, but I think, the scar on your face seems to have faded a little bit. Me for extra chapters. In the inner court of the palace, the air was not fresher compared to the outside. On the way to Southern Bamboo Grove, a servant stood in front of Feng Ruqing and was blocking her way. Your Highness, noble consort Rome would like to invite you over to her place. Enriching arched her brow and smiled while looking at the servant who was in front of her. She was thinking to have a chat with noble consort Rome about the iron-blooded token just a little while ago, and now, she brought herself to her door. Tell noble consort Rome to come over to Serene Palace now. I will not entertain her if she's late. She needed to come over to her place if she wanted to see her. She did not have the free time to go looking for her. Enriching walked past the servant once she had finished her words. She did not even give the servant a second look. However, she did not head to Serene Palace, but continued on her way to the southern bamboo grove. After all, compared to meeting noble consort Rome, her state preceptor was more important. Thinking of being able to see the gorgeous state preceptor soon, Enriching's mood turned cheerful instantly. She was smiling all the way and did not even forget to greet the ministers when she passed by them. It surprised them so greatly that their jaws dropped and their expressions seemed like they had just seen a ghost. This ferocious princess, surprisingly, was not bullying anyone. And on top of that, she even greeted them with a smile. Chapter 44 At Southern Bamboo Grove. Spring was in the air. Beside a bamboo hut was a man in fluttering white clothes, looking like an immortal. His shadow itself was beautiful enough to impress the mortals. Why didn't you come to find me yesterday? Nan Xian's voice sounded like a soft breeze, which made Enriching stop in her tracks behind him. Enriching's facial expression was genuine and honest as she said, "Yesterday, I was worried that you might be too busy, so I did not want to bother you. I was too busy." Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. The man finally turned around. His angelic face seemed to gleam with coolness. However, there was an indescribable light in his eyes. The corners of his lips twitched into a faint smile. Enriching nodded her head earnestly. "You have such an exquisite look, of course there would be a lot of people pestering you. You must be busy handling those ladies, so you wouldn't have had the time to entertain me." No matter what happened, she would not let the state preceptor know that she had actually forgotten about him. Nan Xian remained emotionless but softened his tone. "Do you think anyone can enter Southern Bamboo Grove as they please? And you think just anyone can pester me?" Enriching cocked her brow and moved 2 steps closer toward Nan Xian playfully. "What the beautiful state preceptor means is, only I can keep pestering you. Can I perceive your words as an invitation for me to sleep with you?" Nan Xian scanned the obese lady in front of him up and down. The arc of his lips was noticeable. "Is there any improvement in your abilities?" Why was this related to her abilities? Nan Xian smiled faintly and walked to Enriching. "Since you want to sleep with me, you have to enhance your abilities." Enriching blinked and said softly, "You are saying that if I work hard on my training, I can sleep with you?" "Yes, I mentioned it before. The day you manage to defeat me, I will obey you." Looking at Nan Xian's expressionless face, Enriching was stunned by the fact that she still had a long way to go before she could sleep with the state preceptor. "Then, can I get some reward as an encouragement first?" Enriching's eyes shone mischievously and then she moved closer to the state preceptor shamelessly. She looked at him with a playful smile. "Me for extra chapters. Within 1 month, if you can break through Earth Warrior tier, then you can come to me. Within 1 month to break through Earth Warrior tier." Enriching took a deep breath. In the past, even the most talented genius in Luyun Kingdom was unable to achieve Earth Warrior tier within a month. Fortunately, she had the notebook with the herbal recipes, and once the spirit herbs started to grow, she could officially begin her cultivation training. 1 month to achieve beginner warrior tier was not a difficult task. "Alright," Enriching tapped Nan Xian's chin gently with her finger. "Beautiful state preceptor, then you must keep your words. Once I manage to break through Earth Warrior Tier, I will look for you for my reward. Nan Xian remained expressionless, but there was a faint gleam in his eyes when he looked at Feng Ruqing. I will be away for a short trip. I will be back after 1 month. You are welcome to Southern Bamboo Grove anytime. I will leave Qing Zhu here so you may look for him if you need any assistance. Hiss hiss. An azure snake popped its head from behind Nan Xian, hissing at Feng Ruqing in a hostile manner. Feng Ruqing squinted and smirked at the unfriendly Qing Zhu while tapping her chin. Snake soup sounds quite good. As a spirit beast, Qing Zhu was always vigilant. Perhaps because it sensed danger from Feng Ruqing's evil smile, it quickly ducked behind his master. Master, I think I better follow you. I don't want to stay here. It kept feeling that this woman looked at it like food. Chapter 45. Nan Xian frowned and shot Qing Zhu a glance. His tone was firm. You stay here to protect her. Qing Zhu had goosebumps. It did not dare to go against its master's command. It gave Feng Ruqing a stern glare. Ha! Qing Zhu was not afraid of a mere human. Could this human eat it for real? In this imperial palace, you must listen to her. If I get to know that you fail to protect her well. Nan Xian's stare was sharp, but he spoke calmly and with full authority. Qing Zhu hit its head, feeling disgruntled. It muttered, Master, she is not the previous princess anymore. I feel that she is scary. What if she bullies me after you leave? Do you have the heart to leave me, a pitiful small snake here? I do. Nan Xian replied curtly, which made Qing Zhu almost tear up. As expected, since it was not a female snake, its master was unfair and did not like it. Nevertheless, Nan Xian did not bother about Qing Zhu, who almost teared up after his words. He turned his gaze to Feng Ruqing. I heard. Noble consort Rong looked for you. Feng Ruqing replied with a yeah. Do you need any help? No need. Feng Ruqing shook her head and smiled. It's just noble consort Rong. It's not something that I cannot handle. Nan Xian did not utter a word but just stared at her. When Feng Ruqing saw Nan Xian stare, her heart skipped a beat as she just realized that she had used the wrong words. The original owner trusted noble consort Rong highly, but she had said something contradictory. No doubt, the state preceptor would be suspicious of her. However, she wondered why she was able to loosen up in front of the state preceptor, so much so that she would just say out something unknowingly. In fact, she never had this feeling toward anyone, even to her father, Feng Tianyu. After a moment, Nan Xian spoke again, as long as you can handle it. He did not ask any questions and said nothing, which made Feng Ruqing feel relieved. If the state preceptor insisted on the truth, she would not even know how to explain to him. Me for extra chapters. If she is looking for you, just go to her. Come to Southern Bamboo Grove and look for Qing Zhu if you need anything. Its venom is extremely potent, which will be of use to you. Potent venom. Feng Ruqing blinked as she looked at the azure snake on the ground with a knowing smile. She seemed to be planning something in her mind. The gleam in her eyes gave Qing Zhu another round of goosebumps. It subconsciously moved to hide beside Nan Xian. All right, Feng Ruqing smiled and turned to the state preceptor. She waved him goodbye before leaving. Then I will come and see you again after 1 month. 1 month. She must let the state preceptor see a brand new her when he comes back after 1 month. At Serene Palace, after Feng Ruqing had moved out from this palace, this place was unoccupied as the palace maids and imperial servants were shifted to other places. Servants would just come to clean this place on a daily basis. Meanwhile at the inner court, noble consort Rong gripped her handkerchief anxiously. Her brows furrowed as she paced back and forth. She did not know what was happening now. Since enriching that silly girl had woken up from her coma, she seemed to have changed to be a different person. Not only did she refuse to listen to her anymore, she even hit and bullied Yue. Find authorized novels in webnovel faster updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. If Yue did not swear the truth that the person who injured him was enriching, she would not even believe that the person who was once obedient to her had actually done that. Suddenly, the door was pushed ajar. Lu Rong turned around and saw a familiar silhouette. She was a little pleased and rushed forward. Qinger, you're finally back. Concubine mother has been waiting for you for too long. Chapter 46. enriching stood at the entrance. The sun shone brightly as the warmth grazed the maiden's face. Her skin was glowing like jade, translucent and fair. She had a pair of beautiful eyes and a set of white teeth with a smiling face. Looking at the maiden standing at the door, Lu Rong seemed to have fallen into a trance. If she manages to slim down, she will look like another amazing person like Nailan Yen. Fortunately, enriching was currently a fatty. Otherwise, Schwanger's glory and attention would be snatched by this minx. Noble consort Rong, I heard you were looking for me. enriching squinted as she asked, smiling. Lu Rong was stunned. The way enriching had addressed her made her feel uneasy. She clenched her fists tightly, forced a smile, and asked, Qinger, did you hit Yue? Find authorized novels in webnovel faster updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. enriching ambled into the inner court and sat down. You came here to see me for Lu Ye's matter. I thought you have finally found your conscience and have decided to return my iron-blooded token. Lu Rong's heart sank slightly. Previously, when she heard from Schwanger that this girl wanted her iron-blooded token back, she did not believe it. It turned out to be true. Qinger, Lu Rong said with a bitter smile. She sounded a little heartbroken. I treat you like my biological daughter, even Schwanger cannot be compared to you. I don't know who had spread false news to you, and that has affected our relationship. I will keep the iron-blooded token on your behalf since you're still too young. Otherwise, people might cheat it off of you. enriching replied wryly, you mean the people who might cheat my iron-blooded token off of me are from the general's manor? Qinger, you must bear this in mind, I am the only person who treats you with sincerity. Others are just taking advantage of you. Lu Rong sighed. She continued, moreover, you have forgotten about the incident. The year you were attacked, Schwanger was the one who saved you from the sword. That is why you are still alive. But I never expected that you would turn into someone so merciless. Me for extra chapters. Disappointment could be seen in her beautiful eyes, like the frustration felt by a mother when dealing with a child who did something wrong. It was so heartbreaking. Qinger, I hope you can follow me to Lu residence and apologize to Yue, then this matter would be considered resolved. Yue is usually an obedient child. If you did not treat him badly, he wouldn't have complained to me, Lu Rong advised her in a soft and gentle tone. enriching stood up abruptly. The corners of her lips curved into a cold sneer. I am the honorable princess of Lu Yun Kingdom. You want me to apologize to a cabinet minister's grandson? Lu Rong's face turned stiff. She quickly explained herself, Qinger, I did not mean that. After all, you were the one who did wrong in this matter. I just don't want to see you continue doing the wrong things. If this incident reaches the public, it will affect our imperial family's reputation. The underlying meaning was, I asked you to apologize for the sake of Lu Yun Kingdom and yourself instead of personal reasons. If you refuse, it implies that you do not care about the reputation of the imperial family. enriching squinted at Lu Rong as she scanned her up and down. Suddenly, she let out a stifled laugh. Noble consort Rong, what good reputation do I, Feng Ruqing, have now? Moreover, you think that I am wrong in this matter. Fine. Since today's morning audience hasn't finished yet, let's go to the audience hall to find my father and let all the civil and military ministers decide if it is your grandson of the Lu family's fault or mine. Feng Ruqing's tone was domineering, which made Lu Rong fluster. She had cheated the iron-blooded token from Feng Ruqing previously, so all civil and military ministers hated her to the core. If she argued with them at this moment, she would be wronged even though she was right. Chapter 47, First Confrontation with Noble Consort Rong II. Besides, she was totally aware of the root of the whole incident. Lu Yu bullied Nayland Dyer first. If this news reached the general's manor, she was afraid that the Lu family would not be at peace. Princess, it's better to keep family scandals within the family. If the ministers get to know about this, they would be talking behind your back again, so, Lu Rong frowned, pretending to think for her sake. Who knew that Feng Ruqing would not even listen to her and just left right after? Qinger, where are you going? Lu Rong anxiously moved 2 steps forward. Feng Ruqing did not bother about her. She seemed to be ignoring her presence now. Lu Rong had finally freaked out. She rushed over and pulled Feng Ruqing's arm, saying worriedly, Qinger, you do know that concubine mother is doing this for your own good, so why won't you listen to me? Feng Ruqing tried to free herself from Lu Rong's grip, but Lu Rong herself was a cultivator too, so she was not weak. She struggled but failed to free herself. Her face suddenly darkened. However, her expression remained unchanged as she uttered coldly, I don't have a concubine mother, only one imperial mother. You are just a noble consort, how dare you claim to be my concubine mother? In fact, you seem to have forgotten how you've gotten this noble consort title. Lu Rong's face darkened as she almost burst out in anger. She tried to suppress it desperately and forced a little smile. Qinger, mother. I just want to treat you well. You lost your mother at a very young age. I felt pity for you, that's why I want to be your mother. Feng Ruqing laughed at Lu Rong. I don't deserve your kindness. Keep it for Feng Ruqing. Qinger. Lu Rong looked at her in disappointment. Why are you becoming so aloof and distant? Did the people from the general's manor tell you something bad? I have already warned you, they won't treat you genuinely. They just want the iron-blooded token from you. A mocking sneer flashed in Feng Ruqing's eyes. If you don't have bad intentions and are not eyeing my iron-blooded token, then return it to me. Lu Rong was stunned. She frowned and tried to cover it up. I have already told you. I am afraid that you are not mature enough to take care of the iron-blooded token. That was why I temporarily kept it for you. In fact, Qinger, don't forget that Shuang'er saved your life last time. 8 years ago, young Feng Ruqing did save her life. So out of gratitude, the original owner insisted that Feng Tianyu grant Feng Ruqing's mother the title of noble consort. She even severed her ties with her family and gave away the iron-blooded token as a gift. Feng Ruqing closed her eyes slowly. After a moment, she opened her mesmerizing eyes and looked at Lu Rong calmly. She did save my life and have returned the favor throughout these 8 years. That's enough. If you refuse to return my iron-blooded token to me, in the future, I will hit Feng Ruqing and Lu Yu every time I see them. Even if I hit them to death, who dares to say anything to me? She was infamous as the villain of Lu Yun Kingdom. She had lost count of the number of people she had bullied. Thus, even if she were to hit both Feng Ruqing and Lu Yu to death, nobody dared to say a word against it. Lu Rong looked up, terrified. When she saw Feng Ruqing's fierce and malicious face, terror flashed in her eyes. This foolish girl has really changed. Why? Is it because she dreamed of Nayland Yen in her coma? Nalan Yen. Suddenly, something flashed through Lu Rong's mind. She gritted her teeth in anger. That damned minx not only seduced His Majesty and made him focus solely on her, but she also did not let her live in peace even after her death. Chapter 48. Chinger, if you want the iron-blooded token, I will just return it to you. Why do you have to suspect my true feelings? Lu Rong collected herself and once again looked at Feng Ruqing disappointedly. You will regret in future, and you will also understand that other than us, nobody else will be nice to you. Those ministers that were loyal to Empress Nalan had already given up on Feng Ruqing. Even the general's family did not plan to meet her. If Feng Ruqing were to lose them again, there would only be Feng Tianyu left in her world. Those people would never forgive her. Lu Rong laughed coldly to herself. Let's wait until Feng Ruqing cries and comes back to me. When that happens, it'll definitely teach her a good lesson. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. In reality, since Lu Rong had gotten her hands on the iron-blooded token, she had also wanted to command the iron-blooded troop. However, those idiots in the iron-blooded troop refused to listen to her orders, and therefore the iron-blooded token was just a piece of scrap metal in her hands. Even so, she was still unwilling to let it go, but now the time is not ripe yet and she dared not face Feng Ruqing head-on. So she had to reluctantly give the iron-blooded token back to Feng Ruqing. Feng Ruqing's heart began to beat uncontrollably the moment she got her hands on the iron-blooded token once again. She held it tightly with determination in her eyes. Perhaps her journey ahead was still long, but now, at least she got the iron-blooded token back and was now able to explain. Chinger, there's one more thing. Lu Rong's eyes looked a bit upset. I heard not long ago that you went to Southern Bamboo Grove. Perhaps Feng Ruqing was in a good mood because she had gotten back the iron-blooded token. She answered with a smile. Regarding this, I still have to confront noble consort Rong. Last time you lied to me saying that the state preceptor was a cruel man, and that had made me so afraid to even look at him. However, I did not know that he was handsome. If I had known it earlier, why would I want Lu Yuchen? Lu Rong's face fell. In the end, this girl still took an interest in the state preceptor. Me for extra chapters. No. The state preceptor can only belong to Schwanger. Any other woman is only Schwanger's replacement. Chinger, you've misunderstood me again, Lu Rong smiled weakly while speaking. You have no idea how much the state preceptor likes Schwanger. In his eyes, there is only one person for him, and that is Schwanger. I was afraid that you would like the state preceptor and get hurt. So, I lied. Feng Ruqing's smile became wider. Then she mocked, then why did I hear that when Feng Ruquang went to look for the state preceptor, she got bitten by his pet the azure snake and was even thrown out? Lu Rong's face changed and became a little sour, her smile was almost gone. However, she had a strong heart and was able to recover quickly. I don't know who is the one spreading the rumors. Schwanger was playing with the azure snake and had accidentally gotten hurt. In regards to being thrown out, there wasn't any proof. At that time, the state preceptor insisted on carrying Schwanger out of Southern Bamboo Grove. But Schwanger was shy and was unwilling to let others know the relationship between her and the state preceptor, and therefore she had gone out to seek for help. She looked at Feng Ruqing and continued speaking sincerely, Chinger, I am telling you all these only because I treat you like my own daughter. The state preceptor really likes Schwanger. If you keep pestering the state preceptor, I'm afraid he won't be too happy about it. He is a Lu Yuchen and won't marry you just because of your status. With Feng Ruqing's appearance and level of cultivation, there was no way the state preceptor would have any contact with her. It must be because this girl had not listened to her words and had not looked away while passing by the state preceptor. She must have looked at him and saw how handsome he was and decided to go to Southern Bamboo Grove to pester him. And perhaps, unexpectedly, the state preceptor was not at Southern Bamboo Grove and therefore, she was not thrown out by the state preceptor. Chapter 49. Feng Ruqing glanced at noble consort Rong but was too lazy to say something else to her. She answered with a smile, "Yes, you are right. Then let's wait for the next time the state preceptor comes back, then I'll help you ask him when he is going to take Feng Ruqing as his bride." Lu Rong almost lost her composure. This girl, did she not understand what she had meant? Additionally, it was impossible for Feng Ruqing, who had a bad reputation, to meet the arrogant state preceptor. Oh right. Feng Ruqing blinked as she walked toward noble consort Rong. The only reason why I am able to meet Lu Yuchen that year was all thanks to Feng Ruqing for showing me the direction. She kept praising Lu Yuchen in front of me and made me fall for him. I will now go and write a notice to thank her and stick it all over the city. Lu Rong panicked. If the emperor knew that Shuang'er was the reason why Feng Ruqing fell in love with Lu Yuchen, he would be furious. "Qing'er, are you misunderstanding something? I don't think she meant it." Feng Ruqing continued smiling. "Then let others judge for themselves." Lu Rong stared blankly at Feng Ruqing, and by the time she figured out how to respond to that, Feng Ruqing had already left for Serene Palace. That last tease had left a deep scar in Lu Rong's heart, causing her to clench her fists. Feng Ruqing was surrounded by the morning sunlight. She looked at the sky and stretched. Perhaps it was due to her good mood that she just couldn't seem to stop smiling. Feng Ruqing looked down at her hand that was holding the iron-blooded token and her eyes glowed. "Even though I have obtained the iron-blooded token, now is still not the time yet. Find authorized novels in webnovel faster updates, better experience please click for visiting." The iron-blooded troop was single-handedly trained by Empress Nalan. The troop was made up of female soldiers but could put all the males to shame. But these people had been hurt by her. She wasn't willing to use the iron-blooded token to force them to obey her, but she had hoped that they would loyally follow her. Feng Ruqing rubbed her forehead as her head started hurting. "The previous owner is gone but has also left this massive mess for me." It did not matter. She had already taken back the iron-blooded token and the iron-blooded troop shall return to the world again. Me for extra chapters. Determination filled Feng Ruqing's eyes. She didn't go looking for Feng Tianyu. Instead, she left the palace. Supreme Princess Manor. Those words hung above the door. However, the street in front of the Princess Manor remained quiet. There were only 2 or 3 passers-by. It was unlike the crowded street before. Feng Ruqing looked at the street and was unable to figure out what was going on. She felt that the usually crowded southern street had lesser people. Qingling, the moment Feng Ruqing entered the Princess Manor, she met Qingling and immediately summoned her and asked, "Do you know what happened to Southern Street recently? Why has it suddenly become so quiet?" Qingling stared at her blankly for a moment and answered after a while, "Princess, it's not that the Southern Street has become quiet, but those people. When they knew you have moved out here, they try to avoid the Princess Manor." Feng Ruqing's face turned dark. Was she that terrifying of a person in other people's eyes? "Am I that scary?" asked Feng Ruqing, staring blankly. Qingling nodded. 5 years ago, a child accidentally knocked into Your Highness. Your Highness almost asked someone to beat that child to death. It was only when the general's people stepped forward that the child was saved. 3 years ago, Your Highness and another person were fighting for an accessory. In the end, because the shopkeeper had decided to sell the accessory to the other person due to first-come first-serve policy, Your Highness ordered the servants to destroy the shop and the shopkeeper was grievously injured. Chapter 50, There's More. Find authorized novels in webnovel faster updates, better experience please click for visiting. Qing Ling wanted to continue, but Feng Ruqing did not want to listen anymore and quickly stopped her. Say no more, please say no more. Because even though she had inherited the previous owner's memory, she did not have enough time to go through all the memories and had only checked for important information. So, she did not expect the previous owner to be that much of a scum. She had done many bad things, and the crime she committed was unforgivable. No wonder those people went to hide when they saw her. It was all because of this. Princess, normally you don't like to leave the palace. You only leave once a year for a walk. Every year, there will be people that were bullied by your highness, Qing Ling stopped for a bit and with a red face continued, also helped your highness do many bad things. She had no other choice than to follow the prince's orders. If not, her consequences would be the same as Lu Li or even worse. I get it, I get it. Feng Ruqing waved her hand. Let the past stay in the past. From now on we will not make the same mistakes again. I will listen to your highness' order. Good. Feng Ruqing stroked her chin. Then, you can help me write up a notice. It will be a divorce notice. She had already warned Chancellor Lu, but in the end he had not found the divorce notice that she had misplaced. If she did not divorce Lu Yuchen, how could she go after the state preceptor? The only good thing was, Lu Yuchen felt that she was ugly and therefore up until now, he had not touched her yet. So, she was still a virgin. Ah. Qing Ling was confused. Divorce letter. I, Feng Ruqing, firstly would like to thank Feng Rushuang as she was the one who had allowed me to know Lu Yuchen and had kept praising him in front of me, making me fall in love with him. Secondly, I would like to thank noble consort Rong, as she was the one who told me that I, as a royal princess, have the emperor's support and thus Lu Yuchen wouldn't dare to disobey orders and not marry me. Therefore I had only thought of using this to force him to marry me. Feng Ruqing's lips lifted at the corners. Her grin looked evil as she continued speaking, but when I fainted, I had dreamt of my mother and only then did I understand that when things are forced, the outcome won't be good and therefore I have especially written this divorce letter to return Lu Yuchen's freedom and allow him to find his true love. Qing Ling was stunned upon hearing those words and just stared blankly at Feng Ruqing. Me for extra chapters. Do you remember these words? If you do, then find a piece of paper and write it down. Stick it all over the city walls. Today I, Feng Ruqing, will be divorcing Lu Yuchen and from now on, he and I will have no ties whatsoever. Feng Ruqing said as she used her finger to flick Qing Ling's head. Yes. Qing Ling regained her composure and answered, Princess, I shall go and prepare the notice now. As she looked at Qing Ling hastily heading for the study room, her smile slowly disappeared. Since noble consort Rong and Feng Rushuang dared to sabotage me, they will have to pay for it. Today Lu Yun Kingdom was exceptionally crowded, the city walls were so packed with people that it was difficult to move around. Yuchen, what is going on here? A soft-spoken voice came from behind the crowd. Some busybody turned around to have a look. After he saw them both, his face changed as he immediately informed the surrounding people of the new arrival. Quickly, everyone noticed the two approaching people and made a path for them to the city's wall while they looked on curiously. Lu Yuchen furrowed his brows. He had no idea what was happening as he held Tan Shuangshuang's hand and approached the city's wall. At a glance, he saw that it was the princess' notice. His face darkened. Feng Ruqing again. This woman, what is she up to again? Chapter 51. However, when he saw the content of the princess' notice, his face darkened in anger, and his eyes flared with rage. Yuchen. Tan Shuangshuang nudged Lu Yuchen worriedly and asked him in concern, What's wrong with you? Lu Yuchen let go of Tan Shuangshuang's hand. A bone-cracking sound was heard when he clenched his fist as he held back on unleashing his fuming rage. Find authorized novels in WebNovel faster updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. That atrocious woman, how dare she divorce him in public? She thought she could do whatever she wanted because of her position as a princess. Yet, she wanted to search for true love. With her current looks, which man would truly fall for her if not for her royal power and influence, instead of out of true love? Lu Yuchen remained silent and walked away. Although he never wished for Feng Ruqing to keep bothering him, her action of announcing their divorce to the public really humiliated the whole Chancellor Manor. He could not take this humiliation. Yuchen. Tan Shuangshuang panicked as she quickly rushed forward to hold Yuchen's hand. There was some tension swimming in her beautiful eyes. Yuchen, where are you going? Lu Yuchen stopped walking abruptly. He finally turned around and stroked Tan Shuangshuang's head gently. He then told her in a soft voice, Shuangshuang, you go back first and wait for me at home. I have something to take care of. I'll look for you later. Tan Shuangshuang was startled. She loosened her grip slowly and bit her lip desperately while watching Lu Yuchen's leaving silhouette. She was immersed in deep thought for a long time. Why? Why did Feng Ruqing still manage to interfere between her and Yuchen even though she had made Feng Ruqing disappear from Lu residence? She was not satisfied. Apart from family background, she was much better than Feng Ruqing in all aspects, but Feng Ruqing had managed to steal her lover without much effort. Feng Ruqing. Tan Shuangshuang lowered her gaze, hiding her dissatisfaction and hatred in her eyes. Feng Ruqing, you have decided to give him up. Why do you still use this kind of tactic to attract Yuchen's attention? Could it be that you never had the intention of letting us go? She hated it. She loathed it so much. However, she had no solutions at all. She did not even have the courage to stop Lu Yuchen from leaving. Me for extra chapters. Supreme Princess Manor at the back of the hill, Feng Ruqing was taking care of her spiritual herbs. Meanwhile, the snow wolf was lying under the sun and peeked at her occasionally as it was drooling over those herbs. At this time, Lu Li's voice was heard from not far away and it caught her attention. Young Master Lu, you cannot go inside. Her Royal Highness has given order not to allow anyone to enter the back hill area. Feng Ruqing squinted her eyes and smiled sheepishly at the snow wolf that was lying on the ground. Snow wolf, someone is trying to steal your divine spirit fruit. Whoa! The snow wolf suddenly rolled its body and got up from the ground. It growled furiously and glared fiercely. Who? Which bastard dared to steal its precious divine spirit fruit? If this snow wolf did not teach him a lesson, he would jump from the hill. Yes, the one at the bottom. You take care of him properly, I do not wish to see him, Feng Ruqing said calmly. She added, oh, by the way, you must not finish him off. If he dies, I will deduct your divine spirit fruit for 1 day. You just need to throw him out and put his name in the Princess Manor's blacklist in the future. Although the snow wolf did not know what a blacklist was, it still understood that humans were not allowed to enter Princess Manor anymore. The snow wolf was very furious. How dare this weakling human dream of stealing its divine spirit fruit? This was totally unforgivable. Looking at the snow wolf who hastened away at the speed of the wind, Feng Ruqing stroked her chin thoughtfully. This snow wolf is good in every aspect except for its brain. It is so easily taken advantage of, there is no need to be afraid if it refuses to take care of my home. Chapter 52 At the back hill, the young gentleman looked refined and well-mannered. But his eyes reflected suppressed anger. Both his fists were clenched tightly. I want to see the princess. Lu Li frowned and knitted her eyebrows. Young Master Lu, this is a forbidden area in the Princess Manor. Her Royal Highness has strictly ordered that nobody is allowed to enter here. Young master is advised to leave now. You just need to inform the princess. She will definitely agree to see me. I have something to tell her. Lu Yuchen frowned while in deep thought. He had decided to divorce Feng Ruqing, but this woman had actually put up a notice saying that she was divorcing him instead. Where was he to put his face when it came to this matter? As well as the reputation of the Chancellor's manor. On top of that, he believed that Feng Ruqing would not stop bothering him. Maybe this was just one of her tactics to attract his attention. Suddenly, a growling noise could be heard from the hill. A whirl of strong wind nearly knocked away Luli, who just wanted to reply. After Luli managed to calm down and looked up at the source, she saw a giant snow wolf pressing down Lu Yuchen's body with a menacing grin of teeth and brutal glare. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. Lu Yuchen was shocked and horrified. His handsome face turned pale as he looked at the beast that was pressing him down. Tier 3 Snow Wolf. There was a Tier 3 Snow Wolf in this princess manor. A Tier 3 Snow Wolf was equal to a human's true warrior tier. Although Lu Yuchen was a talented person, as of the moment, he had just managed to reach Upper Earth Warrior tier, which was only one more step to True Warrior tier. However, this step was already a big difference. The snow wolf squinted and scanned Lu Yuchen fiercely. It snorted. Luli! Lu Yuchen shouted with clenched teeth as he could not move under the snow wolf. Tell this snow wolf to get off of me now. Luli was stunned at first, but she was silent after looking at Lu Yuchen, who was held under the snow wolf. Then, she moved backward a few steps and turned away, pretending as if nothing had happened. Growl. Me for extra chapters. The snow wolf growled angrily. How dare this weak human try to steal its divine spirit fruit in its own territory and even ask the maid to order it around. It was the almighty snow wolf from the heavenly mountain. Was it a common spirit beast who listened to other people's demand? Nevertheless, the growling managed to scare Lu Yuchen into silence. His eyes flared with anger, but he did not dare to provoke this snow wolf anymore. However, he was unsure whether it was just his imagination. It seemed like the snow wolf saw him as someone who's protecting its food, which made him terrified. Suddenly, Lu Yuchen saw the snow wolf opening its mouth, revealing its sharp teeth, and took a bite. He quickly closed his eyes, but he did not feel the pain that he expected was coming. Instead of the pain, he felt a sudden cold creeping over his body like a blowing breeze. He opened his eyes slowly and found that the snow wolf held a piece of torn cloth in its mouth. Lu Yuchen was stunned. He looked down to find there was a big hole in his clothes over his chest. His clothes were in tatters like a beggar. The snow wolf spat out the torn cloth and made some noise. Then it continued to bite off another big part of his clothes, leaving half of a fair but exposed. You! Lu Yuchen was fuming in rage. The spirit beast in the princess manor behaved like Feng Ruqing, shameless and perverted. The snow wolf grinned with satisfaction after seeing Lu Yuchen in such a humiliating state. Chapter 53, Furious Feng Tianyu 2. Yes, the snow wolf did smile. Its corners of mouth curved into a treacherous smile. When Lu Yuchen wanted to cover his exposed butt with a nearby leaf, the snow wolf held him in its mouth at once and marched outside with a confident and pleased look. The princess forbade him to bite him, but it just bit off his clothes, so it was not considered as a bite, right? Bob. There were just a few people on the quiet street. The snow wolf threw Lu Yuchen out of the door and closed it using its big paw without looking back. Then it headed to the back hill. This unusual scene had attracted the attention of the people, although there were not many pedestrians on the street. Lu Yuchen hurriedly stood up and covered his bare butt with both of his hands. He rushed in the direction of Southern Street without looking back. There were not many pedestrians in front of the Princess Manor, but the crowd was bigger after walking out from the Princess Manor area. Moreover, there were no clothing shops on his way, so the news of him running on the street with his bare butt spread like wildfire. The news traveled throughout the whole imperial city and even reached the Chancellor's manor. On this day, Chancellor Lu felt the heat from the fellow minister's gaze. Once he found out the reason behind it, he immediately refused to step out of his manor as he was afraid to be the laughingstock of the imperial city. The atmosphere was heavy in the imperial study chamber. The tense atmosphere in the imperial study chamber even rose to an even higher tension as nobody dared say a word and they were even breathing cautiously. "Your Majesty." A eunuch came in and broke the silence. He bowed respectfully and said, "Noble Consort Rong and Princess Ruxuang have arrived." Feng Tianyu looked stern and strict. He replied coldly, "Let them in." "As you command." The eunuch retreated after receiving the command. Within minutes, Noble Consort Rong, who was wearing luxurious clothes from head to toe, entered with a beautiful maiden. Her facial expressions looked nervous as she stopped in front of Feng Tianyu with uneasiness and bowed slightly. "This concubine pays her respects to your Majesty." Crash! Feng Tianyu picked up his teacup and smashed it on the ground. His blue veins protruded visibly on his forehead. He had an intense outburst of anger. "Noble Consort Rong, Feng Ruxuang. How dare both of you!" Lu Rong and Feng Ruxuang were shocked and immediately kneeled on the floor. They were very terrified. "Your Majesty, I do not know what I have done wrong, please forgive me." Feng Tianyu snorted with indignation. He picked up a notice and threw it to Lu Rong. Lu Rong picked up the notice. After she scanned through the content of the notice, her face instantly turned pale. Feng Ruching. She really did that? Was it possible for her to forget how she had treated her with kindness all these years? Why must she force her to take desperate measures? "Father." Feng Ruxuang finally finished reading all the words on the notice and looked at Feng Tianyu, almost crying. She quickly defended herself. "I did not. I really did not advise sister to get married to Lu Yuchen. Lu Yuchen does not even match her standards. I never had this kind of intention." Feng Tianyu did not say a word and remained silent. His eyes grew colder as if there was a storm brewing. At this moment, Lu Rong had already regained her composure. She clenched her fists tightly and forced a smile on her beautiful face. "Your Majesty, perhaps Qing'er has misunderstood. Ruxuang and I have always loved her. It's impossible for us to let her get married to someone who doesn't love her." She must be embarrassed and felt humiliated by Lu Yuchen's divorce letter. That's why she came out with such an excuse to regain her reputation. Feng Tianyu's lips curled up in a condescending sneer. "Is that true? Your Majesty, don't you believe me?" Lu Rong gave a sad smile and continued, "I have always treated Qing'er like my own daughter and I can understand her current behavior. Thus, if Qing'er really wants me to admit that the reason she fell in love with Lu Yuchen was all because of Shuang'er and me, I will admit it for the sake of Qing'er's reputation." Chapter 54, The Function of Herbal Cuisine. Then, what you're trying to say is, everything that has happened was Qing'er's fault. Feng Tianyu questioned her in a low voice and stared coldly at the kneeling Lu Rong. Lu Rong panicked. "Your Majesty, I never meant that, I just care and feel sorry for Qing'er." Insolence. Feng Tianyu was fuming with anger. He stood up abruptly and lashed out, "Dear noble consort Rong, do you think I am a fool? All these years, Qing'er had been fooled around like an idiot by you, but I could see it clearly with my eyes. Before this, I had tolerated you just for Qing'er's sake. Now, I have given you an inch and you want a mile. Lu Rong's knees were trembling. Her heart was beating anxiously. After enjoying a luxurious life all these years, she had forgotten how she had obtained her noble consort title. All of the prosperity and wealth that the Lu family had achieved today was thanks to Feng Ruqing. Guards! Feng Tianyu summoned and gave a stern command. Starting today, noble consort Rong is not allowed to step out from her chamber, and the people of the Lu family are not permitted to enter the palace to visit her either. That one sentence meant house arrest for Lu Rong. It also limited her connection to the outside world. Father! Feng Ruqing went pale as she panicked. She bit her lip in fear and was desperate. Concubine mother does not have such intention. I was not aware that sister would fall for Lu Yuchen too. If I knew about this earlier, I would definitely prevent them from meeting each other. Besides, young Master Lu is indeed a decent guy, just that his heart belongs to someone else. Ruqing, Feng Tianyu stared at Feng Ruqing coldly and uttered, "You are old enough to get married. If you think Lu Yuchen is quite a decent guy, how about I let you be his wife? What do you think?" Feng Ruqing shivered when she heard that. She raised her head and looked at Feng Tianyu in total disbelief. "Father, Lu Yuchen has someone else in his heart. If you let me marry him, doesn't that mean my happiness is totally ruined? The person she wanted to marry must be the best of the best. She would not ever get married into Lu family, especially to a weak guy like Lu Yuchen." Bang! Feng Tianyu hit the table loudly with his fist. His eyebrows were furrowed in annoyance. "Even you know that you will not be happy being married to him, then why did both of you still encourage Qing'er to get married into the Lu family?" In Luyun Kingdom, Feng Ruqing was the most honorable woman and was completely loved and doted on by Feng Tianyu. The whole kingdom knew this fact. However, this kind of grace and affection was never given to Feng Ruqing. She felt her heart sink and ache. Both of them were his daughters, so why did father treat her unfairly? "Your Majesty!" Lu Rong quickly crawled a few steps forward when she saw Feng Tianyu almost exploding with anger. She kowtowed a few times with loud thumps and begged, "Your Majesty, please forgive Shuang'er this time," in the account that she had rescued Qing'er before. She could accept house arrest and also punishment. However, her daughter was her only hope. As long as Feng Ruqing was still alive, she would rise again sooner or later. That person had promised her about it. Feng Tianyu clenched his fists. He was aware of the truth in Lu Rong's words. Feng Ruqing did save Feng Ruqing's life before, but before he found out the real truth, he still could not touch these people. For Qing'er's sake, I will forgive Feng Ruqing this time. I won't let her go easily the next time. Feng Tianyu loosened up his fists and put one hand behind his back. He continued in a stern voice, "However, she could escape from the death penalty but not punishment. Guards, bring Feng Ruqing to the Forbidden Mountain and let her reflect upon her wrongdoings for half a month." Feng Ruqing felt her body shivering lightly. She looked down to suppress her anger and unwillingness. The Forbidden Mountain, its name depicted what kind of place it was. Chapter 55. The function of herbal cuisine too. However, she also understood that it was the lightest punishment given by her father. "Thank you, father." No matter how furious Feng Ruqing was, she still suppressed all her emotions and thanked her father. "All of you can leave now." Feng Tianyu glared into empty space. If he managed to find out that Lu Rong was behind what had happened that year, the whole Lu clan would not live in peace. Since that day, Feng Ruqing had planted all the spirit herbs. So, she asked Luli to purchase more seeds and teach her spirit beasts the cultivation method. However, Feng Ruqing did realize something odd. Using the same divine spirit fruit seeds, the ones that she planted could germinate and produce fruit instantly, but not the ones planted by her spirit beasts, which had only germinated into a little sprout. Even if this happened, she could not afford to let people know about the existence of this back hill in the Princess Manor, as it would cause chaos in Luyun Kingdom. Fortunately, Feng Ruking's tactical formation had been set up successfully. With the help of this invisible tactical formation, she could enjoy longer peaceful days. These spirit herbs are mature, just enough for me to decoct a bowl of hawthorn soup and also a pot of spirit wine. Feng Ruqing stroked her round chin, thinking, with these spirit herbs, she could finally stand on her own 2 feet on this land. Growl. The snow wolf growled to show its dissatisfaction. It drooled looking at the swaying spirit herbs, but could only gulp its own saliva. You cannot touch mine. Feng Ruqing raised her hand to flick the snow wolf's forehead. She added, I can share some of the herbs planted by the spirit rabbits with you in the future. The snow wolf made a low deep groan as if feeling aggrieved and pitiful. This was because at present, it was the only one who did not reach an agreement with Feng Ruqing. Thus, it was just a guard wolf for the time being. So, it was unable to cultivate the spirit herbs. Feng Ruqing ignored the snow wolf. She walked toward the kitchen after plucking all the spirit herbs. The kitchen in the Princess Manor was quite spacious. She chased all the servants out from the kitchen and then personally decocted the herbal cuisine. After a while, a hot herbal dish was served on the table. Later in the future, I will get more spirit beast servants so that they can take over this job in decocting herbal dishes. Feng Ruqing squinted as she was in deep thought. She would be busier later, so she would need a beast servant to do these odd jobs. Once she finished the herbal dish, Feng Ruqing felt her abdomen growing hot like something was going to spill out. She quickly sat cross-legged, using her spiritual qi to digest the inner power. Although this herbal dish was prepared to reduce her excessive lipids, spirit herbal cuisine usually contained strong spiritual qi. Utilizing this spiritual qi for cultivation purpose was more useful than just consuming it. Feng Ruqing did not want to waste this power, so she absorbed all spiritual qi into her dantian at once. A strong wave of spiritual qi filled her dantian within seconds. She could feel the spiritual qi reaching the threshold and into another level. Actually, Feng Ruking's real talent was not that bad, as she was the daughter of Nailan Yen and Feng Tianyu. She had inherited the talent from her both parents, so it was impossible for her to be too weak. Such a pity, the previous owner was lazy and refused to practice her cultivation. She even purposely annoyed a few masters that Feng Tianyu had found for her. As time passed, Feng Tianyu just did as she wished. All these years, Feng Ruqing never broke through any level, being still a beginner warrior tier until she absorbed this spiritual qi to reach the intermediate stage. However, this was not the end. When Feng Ruqing was practicing her cultivation, a thin layer of oil appeared and covered her originally fair skin. Chapter 56, Meeting I, Chi Chi. The four-armed ape pulled slightly at Feng Ruking's sleeve. It then pointed to the bathtub at the side as if indicating that it had prepared the bath water well. The 2 spirit rabbits also jumped up and down, as if urging her to take a bath immediately. Feng Ruqing looked at the grease coming out of her body and frowned in disgust. How much oily food did I eat before? Four-armed ape, go and fetch me more bathwater. Spirit rabbits, go and continue guarding the door, and no one should be allowed in. The spirit rabbits nodded obediently and rushed to the door immediately. They were just like 2 gods guarding the door like statues. There was so much grease on Feng Ruking's body. It could not be washed off with just a tub of bathwater. So, she took 4 baths before her body was finally cleaned. Her skin was still shiny as jade, white and soft, perfect and flawless. Standing in front of the mirror, Feng Ruqing was stunned. She squeezed the fat at her waist vigorously and surprise flashed in her bright eyes. Am I really becoming slimmer? Her previous weight was 250 pounds and it made her the fattest person in Luyun Kingdom. This kind of weight was difficult to lose in a short while. Even with the aid of spirit herbs, it was still impossible for her to have beautiful body shape from having the fattest body in the kingdom. But Feng Ruqing clearly felt that her waist had slimmed down a lap without any sign of flabbiness. The effect of this herbal dish has turned out to be better than I thought. Feng Ruqing rubbed her chin with a smile. There should not be any problem slimming down successfully if she could take more of this herbal dish. However, it might create a stir if she slimmed down too quickly. She did not want to raise too much attention from those people before she had grown up fully. So, the task of slimming down should be done slowly. She felt that the sunlight that day was wonderful when she opened the door of the room. She was much closer to sleeping with the state preceptor now. The Princess Manor. The courtyard was covered in fallen leaves. Qing Ling was sweeping the fallen leaves vigorously while wiping the sweat off her forehead. She saw a teenage girl walking toward her when she looked up. Qing Ling's glance stopped for a while. She was aware that there was something different about the princess today. She seemed to be thinner. Princess. Qing Ling frowned slightly and spoke with concern. Is the food in the Princess Manor too bad lately? Do you want me to go and inform His Majesty so that His Majesty can hire a better imperial chef? Princess, you have become thinner because of hunger. The princess had always been a picky eater. It must be because of the kitchen maid's poor cooking skills that the princess had become thinner as a result of hunger. There's no need for that. Feng Ruqing smiled happily. I am undergoing training lately. This is the result of my training. Moreover, the meal in the Princess Manor should now be light and all the oily food and meat should be avoided. Luckily, she went running in the morning these few days and this could be used as an excuse for her weight loss. Otherwise, others might think that it's a threat to Luyun Kingdom if they knew she was planting spirit herbs. Qing Ling was dumbfounded. Was the princess really going through the process of slimming down? Why? The princess had never done so much before for young Master Lu. Now, she was going to this extent for the state preceptor. It seemed that the princess valued the state preceptor more than young Master Lu in her heart. By the way, Lu Yuchen did not come for me recently, right? As she was leaving, Feng Ruqing suddenly remembered something again. She turned around, looked at Qing Ling and asked her. Qing Ling was shocked. When she regained her senses, she shook her head and said, Young Master Lu has never appeared again since the day he was thrown out by the snow wolf that day. Chapter 57, Meeting 2, That's good. Feng Ruqing nodded and smiled. Don't ever let him in the Princess Manor the next time he comes again. She had always hated people who broke other couples up. So, she would never become such a person. Wasn't Lu Yuchen in love with Tan Shuangshuang? Then, she should let them be. Qinhuai Riverside, Paramount 1. Its name implied that it was the best restaurant in the imperial city. Every month, the young masters and mistresses from the official government would come here and hold their meetings. It was the reason why Paramount was so lively today. Why is Princess Rushuang absent today? Lin Yueying, the daughter of Lin Yushi, asked. She clearly did not know what had happened in the imperial city lately. So, she was in doubt. Hush. Say no more. A while back, Princess Rushuang somehow had an argument with Feng Ruqing. His Majesty sided with Feng Ruqing naturally and Princess Rushuang was locked in the Forbidden Mountains for repentance. No one can go and visit her, even the Lu family. A groan and a sniff of contempt was heard. There was clearly disdain in the eyes of the youth who had spoken just now. As for Feng Ruqing, he had never had any good impression of her, and it was mixed with some hatred too. Xiao Yang, stop talking now. Did you forget that a while back, Feng Ruqing nearly ordered people to restrain you when you criticized her in a single sentence behind her back and she found out about it? She had only let you go when Princess Rushuang pleaded her for mercy for you. That's right. There was also one time when my father suggested to His Majesty in the morning audience to discipline Feng Ruqing in a much better way. Feng Ruqing somehow got to know about it and she indicated to His Majesty to dismiss my father from his post in the government. My father was only spared when Princess Rushuang pleaded her for mercy. Princess Rushuang is such a nice person. Her relationship with Feng Ruqing was good in the beginning. It might be because of her helping us all the time that it made Feng Ruqing angry and caused her to now be locked in the Forbidden Mountains. After all, she was burdened by us. But Empress Naylan was such an accomplished person. How did she give birth to Feng Ruqing, who is weak in both academics and martial arts? Moreover, the young mistress did not finish her words as she was stopped by the person next to her who covered her mouth immediately. She was then forced to swallow her final words. All their eyes turned to the entrance. Suddenly, a shadow like a nightmare appeared at the entrance under the sunlight and was using its smiling eyes to look at them. The young mistress felt a chill down her spine. There was panic in her eyes. She tightened her fists and her body shook uncontrollably. Feng Ruqing. When did she appear? They did not know how much of their previous conversation was overheard by her. The young mistress could not imagine what would have happened to them if those words were overheard by her. Feng Ruqing put down her arms and walked toward the young mistress slowly. If I'm not mistaken, you are the daughter of the Inspector General, Mu Qing'er, right? There was a smile in Feng Ruqing's eyes. Mu Qing'er's palms were sweaty. She immediately kneeled down in front of Feng Ruqing who was looking at her smilingly. She spoke with a trembling solemn voice, "Princess, I know I'm wrong. Please don't blame the Mu family. My father has always been loyal to Luyun Kingdom. What I said just now was all on me and it has nothing to do with the Mu family." Facing the worst villain in Luyun Kingdom, Mu Qing'er was in great panic. She was scared, so scared that the Mu family would be compromised if Feng Ruqing became angry. What are you doing? Feng Ruqing kept her smile. She helped Mu Qing'er up from the ground, frowned and said, "I only thought that what you said just now was true. Only the old me was a villain. You did not say anything wrong." Chapter 58, Meeting 3. Mu Qing'er became more frightened. She almost burst into tears. If Feng Ruqing gave her a beating now, she would not be so scared, but what Feng Ruqing had said just now made her terrified. The others kneeled, their eyes displaying fear. They were afraid that they could never leave Paramount if the villain princess became angry. Feng Ruqing's eyebrows knitted even more tightly. "All of you stand up now." Nobody dared to move. Feng Ruqing became even more furious. "If you don't get up now, I'll order the people to do it for you now." Those young masters and young mistresses only got up immediately after realizing that Feng Ruqing was getting angry. It was only now that Feng Ruqing showed a satisfied smile. "You will only obey me after I threatened you. I came here today because I'm interested in your meetings. You don't have to be nervous. I'm not a demon who will eat people. You are not a man-eating demon, but you are much more terrifying than that." "Oh. That's right." Feng Ruqing tilted her head to one side, smiled and looked at the people in front of her. "What do you usually discuss in your meetings?" Xiao Yang was the first to recover his senses. His face turned white and it was clear that Feng Ruqing had terrified him greatly. "What we are talking about today is medical skill." "Medical skill?" Feng Ruqing stroked her chin. She was interested in this. In fact, spirit herbs were a type of medical skill. The spirit herbs could help people elevate their cultivation and treat illnesses at the same time. However, not many had a chance to encounter them because spirit herbs starting from grade 2 were more than expensive. The medicine which commoners could afford to consume were regular herbs. What's the topic at hand? Do share. Enriching sat down and asked with interest. All the people present were at a loss. They had never thought that Enriching would stay and discuss with them. What was more important was that she did not get angry after overhearing them criticizing her. This was indeed the first in history. They would surely be beaten up if this was back in the past, and their families would surely be compromised too. We're discussing ways to remove scars. War was unavoidable on the mainland and scars would surely be left behind. But there was no one way to completely remove scars up until now. Scars. Enriching's eyes lit up. She remembered that there was a herbal dish in the book of spirit herbs which could completely remove scars. But that was a herbal dish made from spirit herbs. Its effectiveness was unknown if regular medicine was used instead. We tried using and mixing dark plum, pearl powder, bitter ginseng, green fruit, pseudo-ginseng, and other herbs together to make an ointment. But that was futile as the scar did not even fade. Zhao Yang did not think that Enriching would be of help to them. In fact, he did not want to discuss it with her. But Enriching had asked them and he did not have enough courage to not answer her. That was why he told her all about the things they had discussed. Enriching was in shock. She looked at Zhao Yang and was stunned. These herbs were all jumbled up. What a mess. Moreover, she did not think that these young masters and young mistresses would be interested in medical skills. Why would you be so insistent in creating an ointment which can completely remove scars? Zhao Yang was stunned and stayed silent. All the others looked at Enriching fearfully. Nobody dared to say a word. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.